listen, Sam Darnold's journey, your journey is so unique, but his is now 5 teams in. Your journey was international also, right? So what do you think is going to sink into Sam Darnold's head Saturday night in his hotel, Sunday morning waking up, Kurt Warner?
I think it'll be very similar, just to whenever that moment is where it really hits him, like, wow, look where I've been over the last, 5 years and 5 different teams and bouncing around. And, you had a chance to interview him for game day morning and just asking him, what was the toughest moment, And so reflecting on those moments along the way where you just think, my gosh, I got drafted by New York and it's over in New York. What does this mean for me? And then bouncing around and then becoming a backup and just, I'm sure at numerous times wondering, will I just be a career backup? And so I think all that stuff at some point, whether that's before the game, the week leading up, maybe even after the game, all kind of comes into focus and you appreciate it. And, what I love about, even the Super Bowl, just looking at the quarterbacks is like, we've got Drake Maye, who's like the golden boy, second year, drafted 3rd overall. He's to the Super Bowl already, which is what we want for everybody. But then we have Sam on the other side, which is a journeyman. And, it took him some time and he didn't just, come right out of being drafted and find a perfect situation and have success. And so it just shows us that there's so many different ways to get here, to get to the mountaintop, and finding the right spot and maturing and growing as a player is that 2 different ways of doing it and finding yourself on the biggest stage. So I think it'll be a great storyline as we get into this.
And even making that better, it's 2 different ways, but from the same position in the draft, 3rd overall.
Exactly, right.
Both 3rd overall picks in the AFC East.
Yep.
One got drafted by the Jets and one got drafted by New England, and now here they meet in Super Bowl 60. And early on this season, Kurt, when we were talking to you every single Wednesday, QB Confidential is how everybody can see what we're about to talk about here on your YouTube channel, that you were saying, I'm like, who looked the best on film this week? Who did this better than most? And you said Drake Maye a couple of times, and you pointed out how his deep passing game are like the longest handoffs in the NFL. You were saying that in September and October. What are you seeing out of him now, though? Are you seeing him going against tougher defenses and hitting a rookie wall, if you will, in his second year? Is his first time going through being a quarterback all this time? Or you're just seeing a gamer, man, who's just getting it done however he can?
I think the thing about Drake is, like you said, his season was incredible. I mean, I think Matthew Stafford's going to win the MVP. I think Drake is going to be the runner-up there, but was incredible. And like you said, the best deep ball thrower in the league this year. Playoffs, they have played really good defenses. I just don't feel he's played very well, though. I feel like he's played faster. He's missed a lot of things that he made during the regular season. But the one caveat is when they've needed big plays to be made, he's made them. Against the Chargers, they only scored 1 touchdown, but it was late in the game, a 3rd down situation. He buys time and throws it. Against the Texans, they got a 4th down situation, hits the slant touchdown, and then obviously the late go route. And then, against Denver, it was more running than it was throwing, but a couple key throws in that game. And so that's kind of been his MO. I feel like he's going to have to do more. They're going to have to do more in this game to win it than they have throughout the playoffs.
Why do you think that?
I feel like Seattle has ramped it up and is playing their best football now. So as good as New England's defense is, I feel like Seattle's going to score some points. And so I don't think they're going to win this thing 10-7, or a low-scoring game. I think they're just going to have to do more offensively if they're going to win.
Did that start, do you think, in the Week 16 Thursday night kickoff between the Rams and Seattle? I know Seattle's played excellent football throughout the season. I know they had some boat race wins that the defense against Arizona at home, against Washington on the road, basically told Sam Darnold take the rest of the afternoon off. But do you think that comeback, Sam Darnold-led comeback win in overtime over the Rams
I do believe it was a catalyst, and specifically for their offense. Like you said, their defense has played good all year.
Right.
Offense has been solid, but that was when they just started to take off. And again, interviewing a couple of the guys this week, just asking them when was that moment for their team. And they all kind of mentioned that game, Week 16, coming back, beating the Rams. It was really what catapulted them and made them think, hey, we got a shot at this thing. But I do believe that's where their offense and just Sam's confidence, because there was all the questions about Sam going into that, and they're down 2 touchdowns in the fourth, and can he win in these kind of moments? I do believe that gave him a sense of confidence that he's carried through, and the championship game, that was unbelievable.
The recipe for a Patriots win then is what? Drake Maye puts him on his back? Is that what you're saying?
I believe the recipe is, like they've been winning, defense, 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 but then just what we talked about, Drake Maye going to have to make some big plays. If there's one thing that you saw, like when the Rams played against this Seattle team, is Seattle didn't give up a lot of big plays, but the Rams found ways to get big plays. Mm-hmm. In the championship game, there was a number of double moves that they used to get big plays against this Seattle defense. I think if New England's going to win, they've got to generate some of those big plays. What Drake's done good all year long, he's going to have to do that well in the Super Bowl, and they're going to have to steal some big plays, some big play touchdowns, or steal some drives, with big plays in them if they're gonna win.
Well, an easy follow-up to that would be, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua can give you those chunk plays, right?
No doubt.
And there's Stephon Diggs and there's Booty, and you can sit here and wonder who are the big play guys going to be for New England. But really, the way a double move can hit is because there's protection up front.
Always.
And the Rams' protection up front, I would say, certainly over the last month, better than what we've seen out of New England, and that may be the ultimate. Whether the Patriots' recipe for a win is they have to protect.
They
got to protect it. And if you're talking about Maye speeding up, that's the way you get sped up.
I feel like it's going to go both ways. New England has been great at getting pressure too in the playoffs and pressuring, bringing extra guys. That's been one of their calling cards in the playoffs. So I do believe that part of it for both sides. Can you rattle either of these quarterbacks? Can you get after them a little bit? Will be extremely big.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.